guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tara, and I'm here with a highly requested video, highly anticipated video about my Ireland's Got Talent experience. So as you guys may have noticed, I posted on my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter asking you for all of the questions you guys had about my Ireland's Got Talent experience. So without further ado, I'm going to answer those questions. So I'm going to have my handy dandy phone, starting with Facebook. So I didn't get too many questions from when I posted on Facebook. I did get one or two messages from Martin Lennon. I got a lot of questions from him and his sons. So the first one is, what made me apply for it? So when I applied for Ireland's Got Talent, it was my friend Brian who dared me to do it. Brian is really nice, and I was practicing in the piano room one Friday, and he dared me to do it. And it had been something I'd been thinking about, but he's the one who kind of really pushed me to do it. He helped me film the video that I sent in for my application, and the rest is history. Did you have to do another audition before the main one on television? No. So when I submitted my application video, there was a form that I had to fill out, like with stuff about me. Why was I living in Ireland? How old was I? What was I doing? What was in my life? Was I charged with a crime at any point? Those kinds of questions. Did your family know about it before you were on television? For the most part, no. So I didn't tell anybody that I had applied for the show, with the exception of Brian, because he knew, because he dared me to do it. But I decided to mostly keep it a secret, mostly because I didn't know if anything was going to come of it. So if I applied for it and nothing came of it, then I'd have to answer questions all the time about, oh, didn't you apply for Ireland's Got Talent? Yes, I didn't make it through. So if I didn't tell anybody, there's nothing they can fault me for. But the couple days before I went in to film the audition, the producers at Ireland's Got Talent let me know that they'd probably want to talk to some of my family, either like on a FaceTime call or a Skype call while I was at the audition, because I was going to be going completely alone. So 3 days before, I called my mom and I told her, and I was like, Mom, you can't tell Dad, but I have an audition for Ireland's Got Talent and they want to talk to you and they want to film us talking, and you just have to be natural, okay? That's basically how the conversation went. How did they react to it? So I might have told one or two people, but I hadn't told anybody that I'd filmed an audition for Ireland's Got Talent until 3 days before the audition was going to air. And that's because, the producers were like, we don't want anyone to know, like, how you did on it, so we want to keep the surprise going. So the producers let me know a week before my audition aired, and I decided to tell all my friends and family and social media following on the Wednesday before that. The next question was, how did they react? Everyone was so excited and so happy for me. My family couldn't watch it live because they all live in Canada, but my friends and I held a viewing party at my apartment. I bought a bunch of pizza, my friends brought drinks. It was great. And we all watched the audition together. It was a little bit unnerving for me, just because I was watching myself for the first time with everyone else. I kind of had spaced as to exactly what I looked like and what I did and how that went. So it was a little bit, it was a whirlwind experience. So then immediately after my audition aired, Ireland's Got Talent put a video up on their YouTube channel of my audition. What they didn't do was they didn't put the judge's response. In not putting the judge's response, none of my family knew how I did. There was another account that posted the full version. It wasn't the Ireland's Got Talent official account. So I was able to send them that to see, so they could know that the judges enjoyed my performance and gave me 4 yeses, and that everything was hunky-dory and that I hadn't been booted off the show quite yet. The next question is, did you chat with the judges before and after the audition? No. The only times I met the judges were when I was on stage. I didn't have any interaction with them backstage at all. He says, I know that when you make it to the live shows, you are not supposed to tell anyone. Was it difficult for you to do that, or did you just tell your family and friends? It was difficult at certain points not to tell people, only because I had to make up really weird excuses. Like, for example, when I didn't tell anybody that I had an audition for Ireland's Got Talent, I had to miss a full day of class. And my class is a really close-knit community. People notice when you're not there. As for the knowing that I'd got 4 yeses, and then knowing that I made it to the semi-finals and not being able to tell anybody any of that, it wasn't hard for the most part, as far as like just me living my day-to-day life and feeling like I needed to tell anybody. I didn't have that kind of feeling. I was like, this is great. This is something that I've done just for me, and I get to know about it for now, but in the future, everyone else will get to know about it too. But the one thing that was hard was filming days, because there were a couple of days before I could tell people. For example, I was followed around by a camera crew for a day at school. You know, they were filming this day in the life thing for the 2 minutes that shows up before your semifinal. It was really hard to keep that one a secret, especially when like you're followed by a camera crew and no one knows that you've done anything yet. And a couple of classmates see you and they text you afterwards being like, Tara, what the heck was that? And you just say something like, you make up a little white lie saying, oh, I'm filming something for RCSI. Oh, you know, I just happened to be in the same place at the same time. That was a little hard to keep track of. Otherwise, I didn't find it hard to keep it a secret. No, not at all. Finally, how did you feel when you didn't make it through to the final? To be completely honest, I was okay with it. I wasn't shaken at all. I wanted to make it to the final. Don't get me wrong. I was gunning to make it to the final, but I knew that I was up against so many talented people, as well as on my particular night, so many big groups, that how am I as one little person ever going to make it to the final against all that? So I just went in and was like, you know what? I'm gonna give a smashing performance. I'm gonna work my butt off. And if I make it to the final, I know that I've worked my hardest for it. And if I don't make it to the final, I know I still worked my hardest for it. So then moving on. So this question is from Trevor Welsh. And he asks, where do you get your confidence from? It took a long time. I have never been very confident. Well, scratch that. When I was a kid, I was always the most confident person in every room. I knew I was good at what I did. You know, I liked to work hard and I liked to show how hard I was working. I liked to talk to people. So then on top of that, another thing that I found is that I really enjoyed performing, and I got so much energy from performing. Being on stage and performing to people, it always made me feel so energized. Like when I was walking out onto that stage for Ireland's Got Talent, I didn't feel confident at all. I was more afraid that I was gonna walk out on that stage and fall flat on my face, and that I was gonna turn into some kind of viral video that we would all laugh at someday. Which that was actually probably the worst thing that could have happened. Very, very happy it didn't, because I'm very clumsy. The biggest thing for me is that I just fake it until I make it. What I found is that if I fake my confidence long enough, it starts being real. And that's one of the things that I've learned from busking. I remember the first couple of times I went busking in Dublin. Even though I'd been busking before, I was busking in a new city, there was new people to contend with, there was all of these weird and wonderful things that I had to contend with, and I just realized that if I pretended that I was 100% confident, everyone would believe it. So just kind of, at the beginning, it was an act. It was I have to show up and I have to pretend to be confident even though I have no idea what I'm doing. I think this happened with Ireland's Got Talent, where now I feel so comfortable that I can just be myself. At first I faked it, but now it's just kind of a part of who I am. Oh, I've got one more. This one is from Scott Coburn, and he asks, how well does your dad sing? My dad is always the most confident person in a room, or at least he seems to be the most confident person in a room. He's so jovial and laughing and has taught me more life lessons than I can count, except for singing. He's always had a fondness for music. The execution has been a challenge. I love you, Dad. You are not musically gifted. So now I'm going to move on to the questions I got on Twitter, which surprisingly, I got a ton of questions on Twitter. And for people who don't know, I have a Twitter. It's Tara_Jamieson. You can find it right here. So Authentic Ally asks, did you interact with the judges at any point other than what the show showed? Did you have a sound check rehearsal on the stage before your audition? And did they have donuts backstage? So I didn't get to interact with the judges at any point other than when I was on stage. And then did you get to have a sound check rehearsal on the stage before your audition? No. I'd practiced my song as much as I could, but I actually didn't know how I was going to end it, which I think some people noticed when I was reading the comments. They could kind of notice that I didn't have it entirely planned out, but that was just due to a lack of time to prepare. And then did they have donuts backstage? No. There were no donuts backstage. There was pizza at some points where they kept pizza backstage, but because I was singing, I couldn't eat the pizza, and it just turned into a whole debacle. So then the next question is from Orand Darren, and he asks, what made you decide to go with piano over guitar? Also, could you compare the talent level you faced to those you frequent on Grafton Street? When I submitted my audition video, the video is of me playing piano. And it was mostly just because I didn't want to have to bother with finding a backing track, and it was just me and Brian was filming me singing and playing piano. So when they asked if I would come in for an audition, I sent them 5 songs that I would love to sing as audition pieces. And I wasn't planning on playing any instruments. But then they asked if I would play the song that I played in my audition video, which was One and Only by Adele. And they asked if I would play piano while I sang it. And I agreed. I thought that was great. So that's why I chose to play piano over guitar. It wasn't really a choice. It just kind of happened. So in comparing the talent levels where I play on Grafton Street and from Got Talent, it's that they're 2 completely different talents. It's 2 completely different skill sets. The person who does well on Got Talent has to have a compelling story, and then they also have to be talented, and then they also have to captivate your attention for the 2.5 minutes that they're on stage, and then that's it. But someone who's playing on Grafton Street has to captivate your attention for so much longer periods of time, and they have to sing for so much longer periods of time and maintain that high level of excellence. So I would say they're just 2 completely different skill sets. DJ Bambi Show asks, "Hi Tara, what would be your advice for anyone going on a TV talent show?" Owen. So Owen, thank you for asking that question. I'm not sure if I'm the best person to ask, but I'll give it a shot. My best piece of advice, be yourself. The reason why I got cast was because I was completely authentically myself. I think if you're just authentically yourself, that's what makes people fall in love with you. If you're trying to be fake or someone you're not, people don't like that. People don't respond very well to that. Also, practice your piece and figure out how you're going to finish it before you walk out on stage in front of the judges. That's a really bad time to figure out how you're going to finish your song. Which I did. Bad idea. Xandra2 asks, "Do you get stage fright? If so, how do you deal with it?" So I heard a great quote from a professor I had at my undergrad, and it was something along the lines of, he used to say, getting stage fright is like disrespecting the audience because you have asked us to look at you, and now you have the audacity to tell us that we make you scared. The thing is, I'm a calm and cool and collected person. I'm not someone who is over dramatic, and so I'll be really nervous, but I like to kind of keep it to myself, because if I tell other people, then they're just going to build it up and build it up and build it up. There were more important things for me to be worrying about. I was going into exams when they filmed the audition, and when they filmed the deliberation day, I had an exam in 5 days. I spent most of my backstage time studying. Fling Bean has asked a few questions. They said, "Would you do it again? Are there any rules from stopping you doing it again? I would love you to do it again." So would I do it again? Yeah. Are there any rules stopping me from doing it again? No. I think that's pretty simple. Next question. "Thanks for doing a Q&A. Really excited to hear it. Definitely don't feel like you have to answer all my questions. Did you learn anything about yourself from the IGT experience?" I learned that I do well when I keep busy. The less free time I find I have, it's almost better for me. I have this problem where I tend to say yes to a lot of things and then spread myself really thin, and then I end up just stressing myself out. But I find that when I find that perfect balance where I don't have a lot of free time, but I still have time to breathe, where I'm able to get my best work done. So when I was doing Ireland's Got Talent, we had rehearsals a few times a week. I was in class all day. I still had personal relationships that I was trying to keep up. So, and on top of that, I still had to study for exams. So, and study for tests, study for exams, just make sure I was staying on top of my schoolwork because I'm here for school. I didn't come over for Ireland's Got Talent. Okay, so then your next question was, "I thought your interactions with the judges went really well." They used the example of when I said, "Exactly, someone finally gets it," when I was talking to Michelle Visage. "Are you naturally comfortable talking on stage?" No, I am not. When I do shows, my dad always uses James Taylor as an example. When I used to do shows, I used to have everything completely pre-planned so that I wouldn't flub, because I was terrible at talking to the audience. And I still am. I use busking as a chance to practice talking to the audience, and I think I've gotten better at it, but definitely not an expert at this point. So your last question is, not fully related to IGT, but what sort of future do you want for yourself career-wise? Is being a recording artist the dream and medicine a fallback plan? Or are you equally passionate about medicine, and would you be happy for music to be more of a hobby than a career. So medicine is my passion. I wouldn't be spending time and energy in medical school if it wasn't, if that answers your question. I wouldn't have gone to medical school, and I wouldn't have even thought of a career in medicine if I wasn't extremely passionate about it. I plan on making medicine my career. However, music is still something I am extremely passionate about, and I was doing long before I was in medical school. And I can't give it up that easily, and I don't think I ever will give it up. For me, it's music. I want to keep playing music as long as possible, and doing videos on YouTube and playing on Grafton Street are a great way for me to still be productive, but also incorporating music into my life. So now that I've answered all of the questions from Twitter, I'm going to move on to the questions I got from Instagram. The first question is from Matthew, like MATTH 3W2653, and they ask, would you have changed anything about your time on the show? Hugs. Oh, that's really nice. I don't think I would have changed anything about my time on the show. I think I might have started my YouTube channel sooner. So the next question is from Lewis_Bracken 2003. What held the doors when the judges walk out during the live shows? From Lewis. Oh, that's really nice. So I actually don't know. I think they were just automatic doors, but you'd have to ask the people at the Helix about that. So then we_Fergal asks, did you get to pick what you wanted to sing, or did the TV folks advise you on what to sing? Because there are a lot of other singers, they can't have two singers singing the same thing. So ultimately, the show decides what you sing, but you get to submit lists of songs that you would love to sing. So I think we went through about 30 songs before we got to my semifinal song. You get a say, but in my case, we both had to come to an agreement on what I would sing. Chloe Hegarty asks, did you think you could win? I thought I could win. Did I think I would win? No. There were just so many other people. Chloe Hegarty also asks, can you sing a small bit of One and Only on the spot right now? So I dare you to let me be yours, your one and only, and I promise I'm worthy to hold in your arms. So come on and give me the chance to prove I'm the one who can walk that mile until the end starts. Okie dokie. Next question. General Lee Customs asks, what's your favorite time in Ireland so far? Moment. Favorite moment in Ireland so far? My boyfriend and I went up to Belfast recently, and we spent 2 full days and 2 nights. So we got there Friday evening, and we left Sunday evening. Friday evening, we kind of had an easy night in. We went and got something to eat, relaxed, had a good time. Saturday, we had a full day, saw all the sights, ate all the good food, had such an amazing time. We get back to our Airbnb, and I am just violently ill the whole night. And the next day, we have this big tour of Giant's Causeway and the Antrim Coast planned. I get up after having no sleep. My boyfriend, is making sure I'm okay, which is great. He's great about that. We go and see the Antrim Coast, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Giant's Causeway was just incredible. My shoes were soaked, and it was pouring rain the whole time. But Giant's Causeway was incredible. I haven't done the Cliffs of Moher yet, so we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping to do it this year. I mean, Ireland is just such a beautiful country. E_0_1_N asks, who are your biggest musical influences? Ooh, okay. Sarah McLachlan, who I did for my semifinal performance. I did her song, Angel. Celine Dion, Adele. Ooh, who else? I have always loved people who can tell stories through their music. And for me, Sarah McLachlan is just such an amazing writer. And she's an amazing vocalist, but that just tops it all off for me, is her being an amazing vocalist. But the way she's able to tell and convey stories blows my mind. Thomas J. Beliza asks, how much is set up for TV and how much is in the moment? curious since I worked last comic standing. So my experience on Ireland's Got Talent was that they would never... During the parts of the show that were pretty well live, there wasn't a lot of setup involved. Like, they just kind of let me do my thing when I was on stage. For some of the, like, pre-roll stuff, they had a preset list of questions that they would ask, and I would say something, and they would say, yeah, can you just say that again, but maybe say it this way, or, the questions that they were asking were really feasible. Like, what do you do with the money if you win? I'm gonna pay my tuition. What do you want to do with your TV special? Ooh, it would be really, really cool if we, like, had a music and medicine special where we, like, had, like, musical acts come on and we did that. But then in the middle of it, we had little PSAs about, like, particular health problems. I don't know. I still think that's a good idea for TV. I think music and medicine belong together, but I'm not biased at all. So Joy Frost Music, who, if you haven't checked her out yet, you should. But she's asking me a question. This is way cool. I'd love to hear about how much of it was real versus how much of it was directed or staged. I'm also curious if you feel it's worth doing casting shows. I've been on the fence about doing it for a long time. I'm excited for that video to come out. I thought it was worth it just because it was worth it to me because I had fun doing it and I enjoyed my time. If you're not enjoying your time, I'm not sure how worth it'll be for you. And then as for your first question, how much was real versus how much was staged, I answered that part a little bit before, so just go back about 30 seconds and you'll get that answer. Yeah, there's no other questions. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for coming to this video. If you liked it, please click the thumbs up button. If you want to see more content from me, click subscribe, and to get notifications when I post new videos, you should ring the little bell icon that's beside the subscribe button. So thank you guys for coming over. It's time for me to go to bed, so have a great night.